and welcome to episode 4 of Let's Talk 30. Thanks for joining us again. And today's episode, we are going to talk about life insurance and intergenerational wealth. Now, we thought that this was a good episode to speak about because within our community, we really do not discuss the importance of life insurance, how it can be used to build wealth within our community. And yeah, we really needed to talk about it. So here we go. Today, we will be joined by Chantal Refer from Sagicor Life Inc. And she is actually going to help us navigate this conversation. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I'm going to actually start the episode with reading some statements, and you guys are going to tell me if you believe that there are myths or facts about life insurance. So, the first one. If I have life insurance through my place of employment, I don't need a personal policy.
Myth.
Myth.
It's a myth.
It's a myth. And it is a myth because your cover at work may not actually be enough to sustain your family in the event of your untimely passing, or you might lose your job. And if you lose your job at 40, the cost of insurance is going to be so high for you to get this personal policy that you may not be able to afford it. So yes, you could have the life insurance at work, but it would also be good to have a personal policy.
Or at that time, you might possibly be uninsurable.
That is true.
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
uninsurable now?
First of all, I was just about to say, wait, so the younger you got insurance, the less it's be?
Yes,
Yes,
the younger
Listen,
you
we
are.
got to continue this conversation.
Yeah.
I haven't wasn't just yet.
Also, like if you have a policy at work and you lose your job, can you not transfer it and continue paying the same amount or something? You have to start fresh?
It depends on the nature in which you lost your job. So if it's a situation where your position or something was made redundant and the company allows you to transfer it, you have about a month to transfer it without evidence of insurability. So yeah,
Jesus.
And I'm sure that
like,
people don't tell you these things.
They don't, but then
They
suppose
don't.
you don't got back a job in a month and you don't know how you can pay for it.
Yeah.
then
So what's happening
then
when
you can't get it back.
But then you see this, you know what? We can get to this in this conversation.
All right. So the next one, which y'all kind of spoke to just now, the younger you are, the more affordable it is to obtain coverage, and you are likely to be healthier than you would be as you age.
Well, now we know that that's a fact.
That's a fact. That is definitely a fact, guys. All right. So when I die, so does any outstanding debts that I have.
Myth.
Correct.
Yeah, myth.
I didn't hear the question.
When you die, so does any outstanding debts you have.
We wish that I was here.
Yeah. But you got some people that probably believe that,
Exactly. So that is why having the life insurance would assist your family in your outstanding debts and also assist with the final expenses.
That's why this discussion is
So,
important.
Yes.
I can ask what's happened if your family doesn't have it.
How you mean?
Like if your family can't pay off your debts, what's happened?
I believe that they have to somehow. I am not sure. I'm not sure about that, but I assume that they would have to. And I won't be able to get life insurance because I have too many health issues.
I mean, you can get, but it can be hella expensive.
But yeah, be expensive.
Two
But
possibilities
it's a mess.
exist. You
Yes.
may not, or it could be rated.
Rated,
Meaning
yes.
that, as you said, the premium will be a lot higher than
Very high.
the normal premium.
So when it's tell people no if they're too sick.
Yes.
Yes, but they could
Wow.
purchase like one of the coupon products.
Yeah, which is a burial plan.
Yeah,
A what?
a burial plan, basically.
A burial plan?
Yes, a burial plan.
Like,
Yeah, you have the
As in, that's
To bury a person.
yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to offer somebody.
But that's all they
you're
want.
an
Yeah.
adult.
Like, me too?
No, it sounds that way, but what if the same thing you just asked? What if the family doesn't have money to bury that person and they're
Yeah.
ill? Yeah, and that's the situation with a lot of people. they don't have money to bury a family member. You ain't seeing a lot of GoFundMes being set up, and you know,
This conversation is very
Asking
doom
for
and gloom. I already depressed.
don't. That's why, as Letitia said, people don't talk about it because
Yes.
it can
It
be
means
regular.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the reality is that is a part of life. Sorry, we didn't say whether it was a myth or a fact.
For which that's the
I
one.
thought it was a myth.
So that you won't be able to get the life insurance because you have too many health issues is a myth.
It's a myth, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would just be more expensive, or you will have to buy a particular plan where, yeah. So that's it for my myths and my facts. So what I would like you guys to know is shoot any questions to Chantal.
Honestly,
That
at
you may
this rate, insurance is a big, topic for us. Like, we have arguments about this all the time. Because I told them that my mother doesn't believe in getting insurance. And I've always been taught, Shamora, you could save your own damn money and just prepare for things that may happen. And that's all I've ever been taught. Coming on to being friends with Letitia now, she tries to school me. She tries
All
very
the
hard.
time.
Like, she tries to school us in regards to why it is so important. So my question is, what would you tell somebody like me that has always believed that insurance, like, I don't need to have it, basically?
So I would say, yes, you can save in the event of, something untimely happening. However, if you save, well, especially now, if you save, $100 in the next 2 months on the bank, it's basically $100, right? If you were supposed to put $100 in life insurance, let's say, just calling figures, and let's say that gives you $150,200 in coverage, and you insure a family member, you insure yourself in the event, of, we say, untimely death, because the reality is that death is never timely. Even if the person is ill, you never truly expect them to die, and even if they do, it still hits, it hits home the same way.
Yeah.
So $100 on the bank versus getting $150,000. And let's say it's your family member. Let's use the example of a family member. Let's say, suppose they have children, and them and leave a cent for you to bury them, feed the children, clothe the children, send them to school, and you barely know trying to make your own ends meet. What do you do there? Put them at childcare board.
Yeah, I got it.
Right? So
into it.
is
Because that is the reality, guys.
This is why she's a professional. She's going to be able to reel us
and I feel
in.
bad.
right? And that's the reality. Yes, the conversation can be gloomy because we're talking about life insurance, we're talking about death, we're talking about family, but it is real. And up to last week, I had a client, 29 years old, passed away. She was not ill. She went to sleep
And then get back.
and she didn't get back up.
Wow.
Right? And honestly, it hit me hard, and it brought home the reality of, earlier you said, is a bill. It is not just a monthly bill. I told people this is real life and this is real families. These are real situations, and these are things that actually happen. And sometimes until you actually are in a situation, until you actually experience it, and if it's too late, it's a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda. I had last week again, a lady called me because I started creating posts on social media and stuff. She said she saw my stuff on social media.
Tag was the tag.
At Chantel Reefer, SHONTELLE Reefer.
Follow her.
Follow me, please. Right? And she said she saw my post. She is our age, okay? She's 30 years old. She has 2 children, but she was diagnosed with breast cancer 2 years ago. The only policy she could get is the burial plan, right? But she took it because she had the 2 children. She was asking me, Chantal, there ain't nothing else I could get? Like, you mean a tall? Because she realizes how important it is if something happens to her, because the possibility now is a lot higher. The probability is a lot higher now because of her circumstances. And she wants to make sure that if she passes, her children are in a better financial position, you know.
And
So
that is something that we in the Black community do not.
We do not. We don't.
We really don't do it.
But
No.
my concern has always been, okay, so she's 30 and in that unfortunate situation. So the time for her to get insurance would have probably been like 20. However, when we were 20 years old, now mind you, my parents told me to get insurance. I was like, like at the time, if I had a low summer job, I'm not taking $110 or $120 and paying insurance with it because I wasn't really thinking about the things that we're thinking about now that we're 30.
Yeah.
So, and my challenge has always been how aggressive advisors are in trying to just get another client as opposed to just sitting down and explaining to a 20-year-old in a certain way why this is beneficial to you in 10 or 15 years, because then they're just calling my phone all the time. It's just like, oh, you just want commission. So immediately I'm dismissing you for that reason. Along with the fact that at 20, I didn't feel like another bill or something like that. So I think that also plays into it as well. So I would encourage advisors to just change,
Their
the
approach.
strategy and approach to get younger persons to actually get insurance at that kind of age. Because going through it at 30 something, I wish I haven't earlier. I will say that. I wish I haven't earlier though, because it's
Yeah, and that's why these
Yes.
are conversations we need to have within the household. So then when the actual advisor comes, you're not just hearing it for the first time.
Yeah.
And
right?
most of the time,
So-
that's the case.
Yeah.
In our community.
Yeah, so we say, teach our children, but I realize a lot of the adults also need to be educated on, financial literacy, the importance of having insurance and not just seeing it as a payment, because the reality is that sometimes we say, what we can't afford, because I think we have a misconception of how much it costs and whatnot,
That is definitely a
we do.
misconception,
And-
guys.
What's a misconception?
It's not as expensive as
It
you
isn't.
make it
Well, I
out
mean,
to be.
it is another
For the
deduction.
benefit.
Yeah.
It is another deduction, but what I have also come to realize, and this is the reality, I meet so many people who, first I'll say this, there are some people who work for less money than other people and have more money saved up than the people who work for a lot more. We consider it another expense, but there are people who go to these micro-lending institutions who have credit cards, who every month buys tons of clothes. It's not an expense. They find something to purchase with their money that costs way more than insurance, right?
And that is how I ended up getting, I reconciled that when I decided to get the endowment and whatever. I'm like, girl, use the worst thing to $200.
Thank you very
You
much.
pay $200. No,
Yes.
this is because when I think about some of the things I buy, it's like, oh, just use this and pay the
So
insurance.
for me, insurance has always played a big part in my family. I think it's because my parents are older. So I have been a product of insurance in terms of me going to school. It was able to fund my education. And unlike Latoya, when I was in my 20s, because I started my job, my parents were like, you need to get insurance. And they brought an advisor to my house and he sat down and gave me the importance of it. And that's how
I love that.
But you see, we need more of that.
Yeah.
We need more of that.
My parents had trust me to go and do it. And I was like, I can get
You gonna go.
Sure.
So I didn't really have a choice. So you need to do this. I'm like, all right. And yeah, it's not, as I said, it's not as expensive as they make it out to be. Obviously, the more, I guess, Chantal and Letitia could probably speak on this more. I don't know, the higher amount that you want to get in the end, the higher the price you pay every month. That's true.
Yes, that is true. And that's why we advise people to get it young and get in the early, because the premium is a lot lower. And I always advise at that time to, maximize the coverage amount too,
Yes.
because later on in life, you're looking to get home, car, different stuff, and at 20 years old, as you said, get your first job. You want to get the things that you never had before, right? You ain't thinking about life insurance. No, I gotta get my car.
Yeah.
And I gotta buy the latest of everything.
Yes.
I didn't know. I need to enjoy my life. So, no lot of responsibilities right now. Let me enjoy my first set of paycheck.
Exactly.
Right? But as time goes by, honestly, I speak to a lot of people with a lot of regret. Like, I could have saved so much money. I could have done so much. I could have been a lot further.
I have
Right?
that regret as well, because
Not
in my
you that-
20s,
not you
I have
that
no, I
policy,
have yes, I have my good insurance. However, my first plan that I purchased, I regret not purchasing the maximum amount of coverage that I could have gotten with that particular policy, because that policy is the bomb.com. Right? But at that age, I was just like,
But were you advised on? Okay.
yeah, the advisor would have told me to buy more. But I said, sis, I will not be working for more than 2 years. I'm going back to school, and some boy can God be able to pay this for me, that kind of thing, while I go back to school. That was just an excuse, because I was just like, girl, I'm not paying more than $100 for any month. Will you really feel this is?
Yeah.
And, obviously the decision is up to me ultimately. She couldn't force me to maximize the coverage. But looking back,
You should have.
that was a horrible decision. That's the truth. But, yeah. You live and you learn.
And you
Exactly.
learn. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Chantal, you find that, you find that you have a lot of younger people like asking about insurance? Because I feel like BCC age, as we would have all said, I don't know anything. I still don't know anything about insurance, to be quite honest. I still don't know. But if you're saying that we should have done it younger, BCC age, I guess, would have been the best age to actually start the conversation.
To start a conversation.
Well, I mean, the
Because
conversation
they're
should have really
working,
been in the
so-
home when we were much
Yeah.
younger, but
Yeah.
that clearly didn't happen. So BCC would have been the best forum or best time to do it. But do you have a lot of clients in that age group are actually asking for information? And do you think that there should be a forum where you can have these conversations in BCC UE?
There should be. There should be. And
I ain't
I
learned shit like that. Like, I learned things like
We only learned
sociology, and where are you using sociology? No.
Nowhere.
We learned for the
How to interact with people.
Yes, yes,
That
yes.
is very sad.
Yeah. No, there should be a forum for that. And I was talking about it. We need to discuss it more within schools, And even if it's not a situation where you discuss it with the children, if you could have it during a PTA session, and also, have children there so they could understand it as well. And it can't just be a one-off session, because the reality is that sometimes when you hear
Precisely.
things for the first time, it goes through one ear and
Yes.
it comes out the next.
Yeah.
So it needs to be an
Maybe
ongoing
why-
discussion. Exactly. It needs to be an ongoing discussion. And what I have come to realize is that a lot of people don't understand what it is. That is why it can't be a one-off session.
Exactly.
People do not understand. They just hear life insurance and figure you got to pay out something and somebody can die.
And it's a scam.
But right, and it's a scam.
It's
a scam.
Our parents, I feel like when
It's a
whenever
scam,
it
guys.
was presented to me is that, and you've done this before, me and Shamora is always be like, girl, it's for people after you. So pay for life insurance so that your children got $500,000.
Guys, okay, let's discuss that.
I don't want to hear that. Tell me that I could use this to get my mortgage.
Yes, there are
Tell me,
living
as Anne-Marie
benefits.
said, like, to fund my education. I don't want to sound
Exactly.
selfish nor nothing, right? There are other ways, like what you mothers say, for you to take care of your family.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, for me personally, that's not a good selling point to tell me to get life insurance, because I can be like, no, they'll be taken care of.
I
Like,
agree.
Yeah, like,
But you cannot just assume that they will be taken care
They
of.
will
Though.
outmanage
And
you.
I just feel like they also need a
glad you
start
said
in
that.
life.
Yeah,
Like, why can't we in the Black community give our children a start in life?
And that's what
like
the
that
white people
bothers me.
Yeah.
That bothers me. Ma'am, what do you have to say?
Did I have a start?
Exactly.
They'll be just
So
fine.
No. So
No,
because you didn't have the start, you are
you don't have
thinking
to have
that
this
your
argument.
child don't need a start.
But
So
wait,
girl, my child gonna be sat good like the ice in the freezer. Because
You go, sis.
yes, because it is unnecessary for them to have to struggle. It is
But
unnecessary.
what
And I'm not
I
saying
was saying I was of the opinion.
Pardon?
No, I was saying like Latoya, I was on the opinion as well. Like, you know what, I can set my life good when my children come. They will sort themselves out. I don't really need to have
Wow.
But then after talking to Letitia about the generational wealth, I was thinking about it. Why is it that I wouldn't want my children to be richer or, in a better position?
and it's not that you want them to be spoiled. Do not get me wrong. It's not that you want your children to be spoiled.
Why not?
Why
But-
not? Why not?
I'm
though?
just saying
You
though,
because
you don't want them
start
to
10
be
steps forward.
you don't
Why
want
we
them to be spoiled in terms of not understanding the
Okay.
value of money.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
But you want them to have a good start in life. Like my child
Exactly.
should have a down payment for their house.
Thank you.
Like my child should not have to
Agreed.
work to save the money for a down payment. Like I have to do.
Exactly. Why should your child
I don't
when
believe
you
in
start?
it.
No,
That's the truth. I
agree.
don't believe in it. And if life insurance could help me to help my child, mind you, I ain't got no child. Mind you, I feel like I have a child
I
already.
got one though, and I believe in everything you were saying.
But
everything.
I absolutely feel like they deserve a good head start in life, like other cultures.
Yes.
Point blank.
Period.
So you think in other cultures that's done through life insurance?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, let me give y'all an example. A guy, not of our complexion, he would have gone to one of the institutions, Sagicor, and when he came to cash in his policy, the reason for cashing it in was to give his daughter for her down payment for the house. You understand? Good.
So
Okay.
okay.
On the end. That's the end of the
That's
story.
something that I want y'all to
He
mention.
come and
too.
cash
So
in
it
policy
doesn't-
for that.
It doesn't have
It
to
wasn't
be
for him?
on death.
No.
Like,
No,
you
it doesn't have to be on
but
death.
How does that work? Because I listening
That's
to
definitely a
Letitia
misconception.
talking, right? Like you're in finance, we aren't. So when you're talking about cash value and cash on hand,
You
and
don't know what it
accrue and this
means.
after
Yeah.
15 years, I can put this for my mark. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. So can you break that down for us to show us like the real tangible
The
benefits or the
benefits of it.
value of a policy?
Yeah.
Okay.
A
I'll let
life insurance
Chantal do
policy.
it.
Right. Before we go there, I just want to stick a pin in something that both y'all said, that you would make sure that your children are covered regardless, right? So that basically means, I assume that means, putting some money in savings and keeping it there. But if something, no?
No, like investments, like other, like different things.
Yes, but what if something catastrophic happens? Suppose something happens where you need that money, right? And that's the only place you can take that money from. And you had it for the purposes of, saving for your child's education or any event that you, whatever you wanted. And that's the only place you can get money from. And you needed it now. The reality is that you're not going to leave it there and say, you know what, I had that for later, I'm going to leave it there. And you may have to use it. You may have to drain that bank account. You may have to empty that investment to use that money. So I would say the other option would be to always have, if you want to call life insurance a backup option, then use that as your backup option, right? But let's discuss the benefits. It's not just a death benefit. Yeah, it's not just a payment upon when you die. Whoever you decide your beneficiary is that they get the money. There's so many living benefits to it. Includes so there are many plans which have the life insurance benefit, but also gives you money at retirement. It may not necessarily be at retirement. It could be 15, 20 years from now, right? When, suppose your mortgage is over and you need to fix the roof and you need to do other things, or suppose you have a child and they need to go off to university, right? There are also disability. And during the time, if it's a cash value building policy and you needed money as well, and that's the only place that it was available, then that's available to you also. And there's also... there are also disability income benefits included in these plans. And that's something that we don't like to discuss because we think that it might never happen to us,
Yes,
right?
true.
And in the event that, you become disabled and you're unable to work, you're unable to earn income, some of the benefits on this plan, allows you a lump sum payout. It also pays you a monthly income so that you can still take care of your obligations and anything that you may have to do. So my advice would be to not just hear the word and think of, and assume what it is, dismiss it because of what you think it is. Sit down and have a discussion with the advisor so you can understand it better, so you can understand how it works for you. So it's not, as I said, it's not just about death. I know we started out talking about death, but there's so many different benefits to these plans, and it just so happens that a lot of the plans come with the life insurance benefit attached to it. So yeah, that's it. That's it.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
Tell us some of the different, because there are many different types. I know there's like whole life and
Yeah,
then,
so you have like the permanent insurance and then you have term insurance. So under the permanent, you will have the whole life, the endowments, pension plans and stuff. And then there's term insurance, which you buy for a particular period of time. So term to 80 or they got 5-year renewable term, like them kind of things. But
Okay.
the term, for me personally, I don't really like term. Term has a purpose, as in if you want to get a mortgage because it's really cheap. But term is not a wealth building tool only upon death, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I would say is that, you know, it's not one size fits all. The plans can be tailored to suit your individual situation and your needs. So it's not just, oh, you know what, you pop up in the supermarket and say you want this off the shelf, right? You need
True.
to sit down and discuss, you know, what you're looking to do, what your situation is, what your goals and what your plans are, and then find a plan. The advisor would find a plan that would be tailored to suit your particular situation,
Okay.
right? Because what might be suitable for Shamora might not be suitable for you.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
but there are a lot of plans.
So
There
I have a question. So as soon as I am pregnant, I want to get life insurance. Well, insurance for my child. Can I do it for my unborn child, or they need to be, you know, here in this world? What is the requirement for that?
Well, if it's on the life of the child needs to be born, right? But
No, well, okay. Well, in terms of like education or you know.
so I mean, if you have everything planned out and you know when the child is going to come, or when you plan for the child to come, then you could start before the child is born, so that by 18 or 21 and they want to go off, you have that money there already.
So that would be a policy in her
Is
name.
that
It would
popular?
be in her name, so it would be in Anne-Marie's name.
So that would be like a term? A term.
That would be like an endowment.
That would be
You
an
can- we'll
endowment,
use
yes.
an endowment for that.
So
is what you
endowments
guys
are
said.
life insurance as well?
Yes,
Yeah,
they are.
they have the life insurance component,
yes.
but they don't cover you for your entire life.
Tell me
They
why
cover
I need
you.
the endowment and life insurance.
Okay,
then.
so listen. Well, but Chantal, let me know if it right. So basically, an endowment covers you life up until a particular period. So if you have an endowment to 70, you are covered for life insurance up until 70, and you get your payout at 70.
70, at
But
70,
everything ceases at 70.
Okay.
But if you're still living, then you don't have any insurance cover. Right?
Once.
If you're living, if you're living at 70, you cash in the policy, so you don't got no life insurance
But you have
cover.
money. You don't have
You
life
got
insurance,
money.
but you have money.
Okay.
Right?
But then if I have a whole life alongside that
Right.
will continue.
That
until
continues up
I
until
die,
yes.
or until I decide I want that money too.
Yes.
Yes, because
And then you have life insurance that continues until you die.
Right, which is the whole life plans will continue.
But
up
I
until
have
you
the
die.
option of taking out that money for myself too,
Yeah, once the values are
or my
building.
children, so that we could build intergenerational wealth.
Yes.
So the gentleman that would have cashed out. So after he cashed out, that's it.
I can't remember if he actually took like his
Entire.
thing.
Oh.
Or if
Oh,
he
he took
did,
some.
if he had like a different
But I mean,
policy or
ideally,
whatever,
if
yeah.
he took everything, that it ceases from there. That's
Yeah,
it.
that would be
yes,
it.
if he took everything.
Yes, if he surrendered or whatever.
But
the
to be
policy.
quite honest, this is news to me. 'Cause
Yes?
not all of it, older. Not all of it. But I honestly was thinking that it is really for after I die, my dependents get
Yes.
whatever it is, and that's it. But I know about this. I could have come and cash out and all of this.
But Letitia,
action.
don't
But
want
yeah.
me cash out for myself. Don't forget.
True.
That is
But you can have more than one plan, so you could decide.
Another bill, Chantal.
I told you it's not just a bill. It is not
I cannot
just
with
a
y'all.
bill.
I really
It
can't.
is not just a bill. So you can have more than one plan depending on what you want to do. So if one is for a mortgage, one is to cash out at a particular age, you decide.
I'm really
Yeah.
disturbed that when I get a mortgage, I need to pay my mortgage and pay life insurance for this mortgage too.
I mean, you don't have to.
Do you not have to have life insurance in order to qualify for mortgage now, or something along
Yes,
those lines?
yes, you do. But look at it, right? If you do have a family, yeah. If you do have a family, or if you're married, if you have a partner,
Go ahead.
and let me use that example. Not my client, but one of my colleagues' clients. They took out a mortgage, had to get life insurance. Let's say the mortgage was $300,000. They got $150 each, $150,000 each. Unfortunately, the following half for the couple passed away, and he had to, one, he didn't have any money for burial.
Right?
And the mortgage isn't covered. I mean, at least half of it, is paid off, but he still has to pay for the mortgage and take care of their child as well. So he was still at basically zero, not left with, I shouldn't say nothing, but at least he had the home.
Yeah.
So that's where it comes in. At least if you have a family or if you have someone to leave it for, the bank is not going to come and take it back up,
Okay.
So that's why you need to have the life insurance when you're getting a mortgage.
Okay.
So yeah, if you don't have it, then it goes back to the bank, and you would have been paying that money for no reason.
For no reason.
So you may as well have rented.
On average, how many policies does one, like somebody, like the ideal insurance person or young person that has their head on, how many policies would they have?
That's
I don't
not,
think
you
it's
can't,
ideal. You can't
there's
just
no
say.
ideal. And as I said, it's not one size fits all. So it's not to say, here, I have everything. So it depends on your individual situation.
House, married, kids.
A lot.
Seriously? No, be real with me, because I really got to prepare myself mentally.
All right, so let me.
I
I have life insurance. I have endowments. I got health. I got critical illness. I have. I recently got another life insurance policy.
I did as
So
well.
it is not. Yeah, it is.
But that's for my mortgage. Well,
and let me tell you the
speaking into
reasons
the end,
I
why
have.
I get early. You see why I get early? Because we
Exactly.
getting old. So
And
I was
not
just
only-
like, let me get now so that I ain't got to pay so much money when I actually get the house.
So let me explain something to you.
I'm depressed.
Personally, my personal situation, after I had my son, I was diagnosed with an illness, right? Which, obviously you could possibly pass away from. And it was difficult. That's why I just said I was trying to get this life insurance. And I finally get it. But my premium is through the freaking roof. However, I am willing to do that because I have my son, because I got a husband, and because I am looking to do certain things. And I do not want a situation where if I am not here, that they are, I don't want my family to struggle, and that's the reality.
Yep.
Some people might feel different, but I do not. And I have seen people who started 10 steps forward versus people who start 10 steps backward, and I don't want my child to start 10 steps backward. I don't agree. I don't. It is honestly a lot harder. It is a lot harder. So no. And that's my personal story.
Yes.
I have one.
So that's why I say get it early because I was waiting. Honestly, I was saying when I get my son, I'm going to increase my coverage. But before I could do that, I was diagnosed with something. So yeah.
But that's my question. If you go at 18, 20, optimal health, everything is fine, and you're paying a certain premium, are you obligated, say in your situation, to disclose if something happens at age 30? Would your premium still not go up when you go to say, oh, I've been diagnosed with X, or you don't have to say anything?
No, because at whatever your premiums are based on your current age and your current health. So as long as you get it at that age, anything that happens past that age does not affect the policy that you would have taken out.
That is a selling point. Tell people that, because I always felt like, okay, so if I get sick, obviously, like to me, I thought it was common sense. Like, oh,
Not
you
for
have
life
to
insurance.
Just for health.
I'm not sure if you got disclosed for health, but then I guess
For health,
They
it
would
would
know
obviously be disclosed because you would
have to
claim.
say,
right,
yeah.
you would be
Claim, but it wouldn't.
So-
The premium wouldn't necessarily go. It wouldn't necessarily go up.
For
It might
health?
depend, but but sometimes health is renewable every is every four. Sorry, how to discuss this? Every decade. So if you're 35 and you reach 40,
they will
right? So in
reassess.
so in every decade, yeah.
But that's very interesting about the life insurance one, because that to me is a huge selling point. So when you lock in at 18 at $110 or whatever you pay, like
Could
that's
possibly be
it
that.
for life.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
really good.
It is.
Why you only tell me this at 18 years old?
had I known at 18, we would have been well insured.
Going and get medical
The
help
reality
anything
is
at 30.
that a lot of 18-year-olds are not thinking about that. It would have to be a
I'm sure that's
parent,
Shamori's
like,
thing.
like Anne-Marie's parents, who would have to sit down and say, you know what,
You
do
have
this,
no
do
choice,
that.
yeah.
So that's why I said that we we need to instill it in parents so they can pass it on to the children so they can understand why it is important and how it works and how it is beneficial to them.
And this generation is a lot, the ones below us, they're a lot smarter, a lot more tuned in. So I feel like, as Shamura was saying, if you go to them and go to BCC and UA, I think you ain't gonna get all.
Yeah,
You will get a lot.
Yeah, and they have their own businesses now. They're entrepreneurs. They have more
so
disposable
true.
income. So I feel like,
Because at this time,
Like,
I feel like me and Latoya were like, like we could not understand.
Yeah, boy, the cussing me.
We could not understand why we went to school for all these years and knew nothing. Literally nothing.
That
And it was
makes
so
sense.
confusing. And I was like, oh, we just gone through the others. Like, let's call it a day. It's too late for us. Like, and that was really an eye opener.
and the examples they were using too didn't help, because it's like they were giving, the scenarios. So if you had gotten at 18, this is what.
So it was just
would
like, just shoot me now.
Then if you get at 30, this, and we're like, oh, like, yeah, we definitely gone through it. And there's no hope for me. Letitia saved me.
But it's never too late to get life insurance. It honestly is never too late. And I think that even for ourselves and our generation, we should look into if our parents have it, right? Because if something happens to them and you're left to foot the bill, or they themselves are paying a mortgage, and the mortgage, because there's some lending institutions who do not, you do not need to have life insurance. There are some lending institutions, and if they don't have it, and you can't afford to pay that mortgage, you know who's going to take back that home? So the home that they were paying for you, it's not going to be yours, right? So there are a lot of things to take into consideration. So not just looking at yourself, and you need to look at your family and your parents and what they have and what they have put down or what they don't, and the legality of everything.
And it definitely swayed me today. I must say, I come in here like I ain't really want to hear no more insurance.
So, guys.
Wait. I have another.
One more thing? Okay.
Yeah, one more thing. So for me, that my mother doesn't think about insurance at all, you would recommend that I get a policy in her name? And why would I do that, basically?
Okay, so I got a policy in my mother's name.
Oh, wait, so she knows?
She is in her name. I just pay. No, I pay.
Okay.
I pay, right? But she also has only recently, I think, no. So that's why only recently I would say to my mom is no. So my mom has health insurance. Even though I took out a policy for her, she turned around and I paid. She turned around and took out one for herself as well. So because she is realizing, or she has realized, how important it is and how beneficial it is, how it would be for, yes, me and my sister are grown adults, but there's still certain things that need to be taken care of. And she realized that. So that's why she did it. But the reason I did it is because I knew if something happened to her, who the responsibility would fall on, and the things that I would have to do. And it would be more expensive later on than paying $100 policy now for her than having to, suppose I had to go and take out a loan. So that's another thing. Sometimes we might say that life insurance is too expensive. But then if you have to go and take out a loan for a burial or loan for other stuff to take care of your family members, the reality is that the repayment on that loan, that monthly bill, is going to be a lot higher than paying the cost before paying a life insurance policy, right? A monthly life insurance bill, right? So there are so many things to take into consideration and things like that. Pay now or pay later. And if you pay later, the reality is that it's going to be way more expensive.
The point is you gotta pay at some time.
At some point. At some point.
So start early.
Yeah.
Start early.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
It was
Chantal.
informative.
Like, honestly, it really was. And if I got more questions, but we probably gotta bring you back.
We gonna come back.
Another session.
So, any
Part
closing
2.
remarks from you?
I would say that, like life insurance, as I said earlier, is not just a bill. This is reality. This is real life. This is real families, real situations. Do not just, assume what you think it is or what you think it is about or what you think it isn't. Sit down and speak with some person who is well informed and educated on the topic so that you can make informed decisions about it that could, be better for you in the future.
And where can, if somebody wanted to have a conversation with you, about it, where can they reach you?
So you can give me a call at 820-6590, or you can visit my Instagram page, and always people like DMs now. So you can DM me. My handle is at Chantel Refer, SHONTELLE. REF. I can't remember how to spell my name now.
She just got married, guys, recently.
TELLERE. You see, I forgot an REIFER.
Yes.
Yes, I got it right.
Okay, so for me, I really just want to say that we as a community, we need to break that generational curse of poverty and just getting by. It's really not necessary. And you just need to research the benefits of life insurance. And when you do that and you want to talk a little further, just hit up Chantal.
Yes.
And she can actually give you more information on that.
Thank
So
you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
brings us to the end of episode 4. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. You can find us on all the podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. And you can follow us on Instagram at Let's Talk 30.bb. And as usual, life is too short to live counting the years. So if you're on your journey to or through 30, enjoy the ride. See you next time.